Huge win for Baltimore, especially after how poorly it started off. For them to fight back and get the win, I think it's a really big deal. And let's talk about what went wrong early on. It was a lot of plays like this, where what's going to happen on this play is that Lamar Jackson is going to fake as though it could be a jet sweep, but he's keeping the ball himself. He's going to run up the middle. It's a 3rd down and 4, so they're kind of using Lamar Jackson, basically saying, let's put the ball in the hands of our best player, which does make sense. In doing this, Baltimore is also going to leave the edge rusher on the bottom of the screen completely unblocked, and the left guard is going to pull all the way around to block a linebacker, which in this case is Darius Leonard. This is a play that, they love to run, and this is a play that they ran a ton last year and had a ton of success with it. But again, one of the things I've talked about is that this year teams are a bit more prepared for the Lamar Jackson system. Teams know to be more patient, and teams know that if they think they see something, be aggressive and go out and try and make a play, and that's what Leonard is going to do here. Once the ball is snapped, Leonard reads the play probably by looking at the offensive line and just seeing a guard pulled over, so he's trying to crash in quickly. He now knows that it's going to be a Lamar Jackson run, and Jackson now isn't going to have as much room to run, whereas if the guard was able to take Leonard out of the play, then Lamar Jackson could probably run for, who knows, maybe a touchdown. He could probably get at least 20 yards. That's how big of a difference this one player on this play is going to be. Jackson has nowhere to go and gets stopped short of the 1st down marker. And again, a lot of times in these plays, it's just one player making the play, and in the first half, the Colts had that player making a play. However, the beauty of this system is that no matter what the defense is doing, no matter what the defense is focused on, you can't be focused on everything. And if they're focused on stopping a Lamar Jackson run, that sets things up for Baltimore, and Baltimore was able to take advantage of that in the second half in a big way. Like, take a look at this play, for example. It's going to be man coverage. It's a cover 1 man play, but it's almost similar to a goal line defense in a lot of ways, where you have an edge rusher his job is to cover a tight end who's a little bit on the inside, which I know sounds a bit confusing. Why would you have an edge rusher covering a tight end? But the reason you do this kind of thing is simply out of fear of a run, essentially. If you're going to play man, you have to have someone who is in charge of every eligible receiver, but you're basically expecting a run, so you're not really too concerned about that aspect of the game. But once the ball is snapped, this is a pass. And also one other thing I want to bring up here, because yes, on one hand, this is just going to be, the advantage of having an edge rusher playing man coverage. That's obviously an advantage for the offense. The other thing that I find interesting is that there is immediate pressure right here for Lamar, and it's man coverage. So man coverage is easier for a quarterback to run with the football. A lot of quarterbacks would run with the football, and those guys haven't had 1,000-yard rushing seasons like Lamar Jackson has. So I find this really impressive that Lamar is still very confident in his throwing ability, and he should be. He still is a good thrower. He might be a better rusher, but he's still a good thrower. He's able to make this throw. It's a really accurate throw, and they get a big completion there. And again, Indianapolis kind of went all out to stop Lamar Jackson's rushing ability, and it really backfired in a big way. But I'm not saying that in a way that they made the wrong call, because no matter what you do against the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, it's going to backfire in some way. They're going to be able to make an adjustment, and if they can make the right adjustment, they always have a chance to get a big advantage. And of course, if the running game is something that the opposing defense is making sure they don't get beat by, that's going to make play action a lot easier. And this is going to be just a traditional play action play. It's cover 3 zone, fake a handoff, throw it to a player who's going to be running past the linebackers kind of in that middle area of the field. This is a play that can work out very well. Once the ball is snapped, look at how when Lamar throws it, the linebackers definitely moved in and, had to turn their head to try and get back towards the end of it, which isn't what you want to do in zone. So that was obviously a big advantage, and they were able to get a player really open, and Lamar made a perfect throw. That results in a completion, and again, it's these things. Once something starts to work, once you find success in just one area, it makes everything so much easier. Even at this point, you can now have Lamar Jackson start to run the ball again because teams aren't expecting it as much. The Colts aren't expecting it as much. Like, as you see on this play, it's going to be a bootleg to the top of the screen. So the two key things here, Indianapolis is going to be expecting just a regular run. And really the two things to watch is going to be the block on the edge and the Indianapolis player who I have circled. Again, remember, earlier on, Indianapolis and their linebackers were doing a great job at picking the right gap and seeing who has the ball correctly. Here, when Lamar Jackson fakes the handoff and runs to the top of the screen, look at how out of position that key Indianapolis player on display is. I mean, he is very much closer to the middle of the field. He was expecting a regular run and did not realize Lamar kept the ball because Lamar hadn't kept the ball for the past several plays. And so they kind of, you get used to a certain thing happening, and that's how you get fooled. Now Lamar is able to run it in himself and gets the touchdown. And that was really the second half, was just the Ravens offense finally got something going. And once they could get one thing going, they were able to get everything going. One other thing, this isn't about the offense at all, actually. It's about the defense. There was a controversial play. What you see on the screen is it's a cover one play. It's cover one hole, and there's a receiver running a route towards the sideline against Marcus Peters. That's where Rivers is going to want to throw the ball to. Once the ball is snapped, Indianapolis' receiver is going to try a move here, but it's not really going to work out too well. Peters stays on him pretty well, so give Peters some credit there. He's in pretty good position. Rivers tries this anyway, which is a mistake, and looks like Peters maybe has the interception. I'll show the replay on this angle. A lot of people were confused as to why this was an interception. I'm going to pause it at a certain point. The reason why I'm pausing it here is because at this point is when the third foot is down, and that's actually very key. They've changed it in the rule book that, there used to be, you had to have it for a lot longer. They've changed it so that all you have to do is get a third step down or make a football move, an act in the move in the sport of football. So the only point where it could have counted as incomplete is if he lost the ball in that one quick section. And while the ball does move at a certain point, it doesn't really move in any significant way to count as a loss of possession. He still has possession the whole time. So with the rules, that's a catch. I mean, you can dislike the rule if you want, but in today's day and age, that was a catch. I saw some people were sort of memeing about Des Bryant being on the sideline and saying, how is that a catch, but mine wasn't? Well, the answer is the rule is different now. So that's the reason why. So yeah, I thought that was a catch. I really think that's actually pretty clear that that's a catch. The NFL doesn't want any gray areas in the way a catch is ruled. They make it very specific what counts and what doesn't. And because of that, every now and then there is going to be one where you say, how does that get ruled a catch? But it is by rule catch. So that's what I think, at least. What do you guys think about the whole game? Very fun game. Let me know what you thought. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.